Hey, what's going on, comic fans? Mr. Q Comics back with another overdue haul video here. Still got some books left over from the summertime that I have yet to show off. So this is books from a couple of different local shops. I've got a local antique mall that I like to hit up periodically, and they've also got an outdoor flea market that's right in between two antique shops where I'm at. The flea markets close up this time of year, obviously, but it's stuff I picked up over the summer. As usual, going to dive into kind of the less expensive stuff, the dollar type books, and get into, the bigger books as we go along. So just jump right into it here. Some modern pickups. Copy of NYX #6. I only have a few of these books. This is early X-23. I think it's her fourth appearance. And it's not perfect, VF range. Pretty neat Josh Middleton cover. And it was only $1, so I went ahead and grabbed it. I think I found another couple issues digging at that same flea market. None of the big ones, but I've been grabbing them when I find them, again, on the cheap. Okay, this is just kind of some Marvel spec stuff. Young Avengers #2. This one also not in the best of shape. It's got a little bit of soiling going on. It's probably VF range. Again, it was $1. I think in this one, Cassie Lang discovers she has powers. It's the origin of Iron Lad. Second appearance of Kate Bishop. So for $1, I figured, what the heck. I think I managed to find a copy of the director's cut of #1 in a dollar bin a little while back as well. So again, same type of thing. I'm not going to break the bank on these MCU spec books, the modern stuff anyways. But when I find them for $1, I'm going to snatch them up. So just needs a little bit of dry cleaning, I think, and it's not too bad. All right, I showed one of these off my last video. Just another Marvel Age 102. Nothing huge. I think it's just an X-Force preview on this. It was $1, VF range, and Rob Liefeld cover. I love making fun of Rob Liefeld, but this was kind of this was my childhood. This was my early comic book collecting. So, I grabbed this out of pure nostalgia reasons and kind of bringing me right back to being, 10, 11 years old, buying these books new off the shelf. So pretty happy with that pickup. Okay, I'm always a sucker for early Adam Hughes. I found this, Valor #10. And I don't know anything about this title. I just knew it was early Hughes, August '93. Again, it was $1 book, VF range. I just love collecting any artist I'm into. I love picking up kind of the early work and having the progression. So pretty cool cover. And I've shown these off probably multiple times, but I always seem to find these for $1. I think every one of these was $1, and varying condition on them, but it's the Justice League America run from Hughes. We got 32, 36, which I think is a minor key first appearance of Mr. Nebula, which is like a Galactus parody who decorates planets, and it's got the first Scarlet Skier, so kind of funny stuff. 37, 39, 40, 41, and lastly, the creepy Guy Gardner cover of 45. So, I don't know. I'm just a sucker for these. I don't think they have any huge value to most of these, but I keep buying them when I find them for $1 and just holding on to the best one, the best copy for my own PC. And I think I have the whole run probably multiple times over now, but they're just always fun to dig for and find in the dollar bill. So, and there definitely are some cool covers in there. But it is interesting to look at that earlier work compared to, the amazing covers he puts out now, and how much more, detail there is in them. So he's definitely one of my favorite cover artists. All right, another, I guess, spec book. I've kind of bought up a lot of these before. I think this is kind of old spec, the Atlas books, but it was $1. I don't know if I had this yet. It's Wolf the Barbarian #1, which is the first appearance of Wolf, who's modeled after Thor. It's a Larry Hama story, cover and art. Again, I can't remember if I had this one. I've picked up so many of these when I found them. Again, I'm not spending more than a few bucks on these. This one's not in the best of shape. So for $1, if you're going to spec on stuff and you're getting it for $1, that works for me. So, okay, I don't typically buy gold key stuff, but this was in pretty decent shape, probably VG fine. It was just a copy of Walt Disney Scamp #1. I think it reprints Del 4 color 1204. I don't know a ton about kind of these old Dells and gold keys. I always have to do some digging, but this one's from December of 67. It was $1. I grabbed it. So again, not typically the type of stuff I buy. So I think all of that stuff came from a flea market. I'm pretty sure it came from the flea market. So this stuff here, a little more superhero stuff, low grade dollar bin stuff from one of my shops. Back to the kind of superhero stuff here. Batman 233. This is absolutely shredded. Probably fair, maybe good range, but it was $1. I didn't have it. E. Nelson Bridwell story. Dick Giordano cover. Irva Novick interiors. So I didn't have that one for $1. I don't mind throwing it in for a filler issue. And I don't think I had this either. Strange Tales 143. I'm not trying to piece together the Strange Tales run. I do typically go for the Doctor Strange stuff, but this was $1 from April of 66. This is probably VG range. Cool Kirby cover. The Nick Fury story is Stanley and Kirby co-plot, and Doctor Strange story is Steve Ditko cover, or Steve Ditko story and art. So this one's weird. No staples in the book at all, which I couldn't find staple holes, so it looks like it was manufactured without staples, which was kind of funny. All right, this was definitely from the flea market, and this was just pure 80s nostalgia buy for me. I loved G.I. Joe. I had not seen this before. This is G.I. Joe in 3D, #1 from Blackthorn Publishing. Not really a pricey book. I think it's from July 87. It was like $3, and it's probably VF, maybe near mint range. I think it's the Blackthorn 3D series #20. And I think, yeah, it had the glasses with it. So classic 80s 3D glasses. I think my first memory of that is seeing those 3D glasses. I think Jaws 3 in 3D. If anyone saw that as a kid, that's the only movie I remember seeing in 3D. I might have seen other ones, but I remember that. I remember the part where someone dives under the water and there's like a dead body pops out at you in the theater. Awesome. That's pure 80s nostalgia for me. All right, I'm sure I've shown this off, but I buy it every time and I find it cheap quite a bit. Web of Spider-Man 24. This is near mint range from March of 87. It was only a few bucks. It's got that Venom cameo in it. I think it's just kind of his hand popping into one panel. It's Kyle Baker on the cover. Del Barris art, I think, and David Michelini on the plot, and Len Kaminsky's story. So I grab that every time I find it. It's usually cheap, and it's, I guess a minor key. So, all right, this one I've been looking for a while. I like kind of these obscure books like this. This is Doctor Strange 15. I am sure I've seen other people show this off. Really nice copy of it, newsstand copy. This is from March of 1990. It's only a few bucks. It's a Jackson Guisi, I don't know how to say that, cover and interiors, Roy Thomas and Dan Thomas story. So this one is, they used a photo or a cover of an Amy Grant album from back in the day, and she's a Christian singer, and she didn't want to be associated with anything in the occult, so she sued Marvel over this. I don't think this was recalled or anything. I've read a couple articles on it. I think sometimes it gets reported as recalled, but I think she just sued them. And you can go and find her album cover, and it is clearly just like a photo image from that cover. But I don't know. I just kind of dig kind of these weird comic controversy things. It's kind of a creepy cover with her face in red on the back too. So for a few bucks in high grade, I definitely grab that. It's probably the first time I've ever found it in the wild. So just kind of a neat little pickup. All right, on to more the key issues, bronze and silver stuff. So I think this is one I was just missing from my run, Uncanny X-Men 156, which I have pretty much all of the Bronze Age stuff, from 100 up to 300, but I'm missing a few issues here and there. I was able to, when I first got back into collecting, pick up, some guy was selling off his X-Men collection, like 600 books, including a lot of modern stuff, and I was able to pick up the whole thing to kind of piece together most of this run on the cheap. So Uncanny 156 from April of 1982. This one's in great shape, VF near mint, beautiful colors, really crisp. It's only $3 at my local shop. It's the origin of Corsair. And of course, it's a Chris Claremont story, Dave Cockrum, cover and art. So I don't know what's going on with the Starjammers. I've heard kind of some speculation. I mean, there's pretty much speculation on anything now. But yeah, high grade, and I needed it. So happy to find it for $3. This is just a classic. This is more X-Men stuff. I think this was from the flea market. I think I probably bundled this up with that G.I. Joe 3D book. I think I like bought a thermos from the guy or something too. So this is Uncanny 211 from November 86. Again, this one's in beautiful shape. It was only $3, near mint range. It's that 25th anniversary cover, first full team appearance of the Marauders. Again, Claremont story. John Romita Jr. cover. And I think John Romita Jr. and Brett Blevins on the interior art. And this is probably my favorite of all the 25th anniversary covers here. So that one was a nice find. Newsstand copy as well. I'm pretty sure I have that a couple times over. All right, we got Hulk 177, mid-grade copy. I think I've got a couple of these as well. Minor Warlock key here. I think it's the quote-unquote death of Warlock. Classic battle with the Hulk as well. Herb Trimpe cover and art. Roy Thomas and Jerry Conway on the story. And this one is from July of 74. It was only a few bucks, so I think it was like $4. So this one, I think I have this in better shape, but this was, again, spec. I think this is from House of X. X-Men 96. This one's really rough, but this one shot up big in value with the House of X storyline. X-Men 96 from December of 75. This is the first Moira McTaggart debut of Wolverine's Berserker Age. Again, Claremont story, Sal Buscema and Maurice Severin on the cover, Dave Cockrum on the interior. So this was like $12, and it's in rough shape, probably good, very good range. I think I have another copy that I got in that collection I mentioned I pick up that's in better shape, but I grabbed this just due to the speculation and the fact that it was still cheap in the store. All right, another X-Men book I always seem to find, and I love this cover, X-Men 221. I've got two, I picked up 2 copies, raw years ago and got them both slabbed. Both came back in 9/8, which is pretty awesome, but I still buy this book anytime I find it. I still seem to find it relatively cheap. This one's not in the best of shape. I think this one's probably very fine range, but it was only $15. First appearance of Mr. Sinister. This is probably my all-time favorite Mark Silvestri cover. I love this one. Just a phenomenal cover. Chris Claremont story again, and again, Silvestri on the cover and art. So I just love this one. I find it all the time. All right, some DC stuff. I don't typically hunt down the DC stuff, but this was a good price on this book. It is showcase number 56 from June of 65. This one's really high grade, I think, probably in the VF range. It is the first appearance of Psycho Pirate, Murphy Anderson cover, Jack Schiff story, and Bernard Bailey art. I don't really know much about, the showcase series at all. It was $25, and I knew it was high grade, so I would probably get this slab and flip this at some point. But really sharp copy. Again, I'm not always the biggest fan of the DC books. They just seem to me, especially the Silver Age stuff, kind of not nearly as exciting as a lot of the Marvel books here. I mean, just compare the covers here, the 2 Fantastic Four books to the showcase. It's kind of bland to me, for my taste. So, but anyways, for $25, high grade key, definitely not leaving it behind. All right, last few books. This was just an upgrade for me. This is a phenomenal cover. Black Panther #1. I've got this a few times over, but mostly I find it in mid-grade range. Not the best wrap, definitely got a miswrap, but this one is much higher grade than my others. This one's probably VF Plus, I think. This is from January 77, premiere issue of Black Panther's first ongoing series, first team appearance of the collectors, and of course, Jack Kirby's story cover and art. I do love this cover. And this was I think this was like $50 on my shop's wall. So I snatched it up knowing I got a lower grade copy to flip. So psyched to find a better copy of that. Okay, another copy of this. I've bought this a few times over. A Moon Knight #1. I think this is going to be... Oh, is this volume 1? Yeah, I think this is volume 1 of the first ongoing series from November of 80. This one's pretty high grade, probably VF Plus as well. This is a good Moon Knight key to pick up if you can't swing, the first appearance, which is a crazy, crazy hot book. So expensive. And that book has always been expensive since I've been back into collecting, which always surprised me. I don't know much about Moon Knight. I've been able to piece together most of this run here, or at least the early issues, so I'm looking forward to going back and reading it. But this is the origin of Moon Knight, first appearance of Bushman, first appearance of Khonshu, Bill Sienkiewicz covering art, Doug Moench story. So I still find these, under $20 in pretty good shape, and I've got a few copies of this now, probably 3 or 4, I think. So, all right, another Moon Knight book. Again, if you can't swing the first appearance, Marvel Spotlight, number 28. So this is the first solo story of Moon Knight, first appearance of Marlene Alron. I don't even know how to say it. Again, Doug Moench story, Don Perlin covering art. This is from June of 76. This one's probably mid-grade, and it was only like $30 at my shop. And they had a few copies of this, and I had kind of been looking at them and not grabbing them, thinking maybe I should pick one of those up. And of course, as speculation goes, these books just kind of go through the roof. And so I just snatched one up while it was still there. I think someone else grabbed the other copies. They probably had 2 or 3. So kind of wish I had grabbed all of them. But what are you going to do? Still, cool book. I dig the yellow cover. All right, final book. I have showed this off before. Again, spec book, but also just awesome Marvel Silver Age stuff. Fantastic Four, number 50. I think this is my 3rd copy. This is probably the best grade I have, though. So I bought a few of them. This is from May of 66. This is Stan Lee and Jack Kirby on this. Second full appearance of Silver Surfer and Galactus, and it's just a classic battle of Galactus and Silver Surfer. Fantastic cover, of course. This is VG range, and I think it was like $100, which they've got more copies at the shop now, but they're priced more like in the $200, $250 range. So I grabbed it while I could. This is probably the height. I probably won't buy any more of these. I've got 2 other ones in lower grade, and one is completely thrashed. So psyched to get this. Yeah, just a great book. Even if, you're not into speculation, obviously these are books you want to pick up. These are the books I feel like when these characters hit the movies, that I feel like these Silver Age books are the ones that are going to have the best chance of retaining their value, especially when you're talking Fantastic Four, Silver Surfer, classic characters. So these ones I definitely want to get while I can before the movies come out, especially because I just want to hold on to them for my collection. So, all right, guys, that is it for this haul. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, subscribe. I'll be putting more of these out. I've got a bunch more stuff I'm trying to get to, over the Christmas holiday here. So, again, if you enjoyed it, please leave some comments down below, and I will see you guys soon.